now on Denver 7 News at 6:30. A 360 conversation on parenting and your kids' privacy.
I don't want to be suspicious, and so don't give me a reason.
Apps make it easier to spy on your kids, but does that mean you should?
There are studies that suggest that kids with helicopter parents do have more social anxiety and more anxiety and depression in general.
This morning, you'll hear from parents, doctors, and officers to help you decide how far is too far.
Plus, clear skies this morning, but a cold front brings changes tonight.
It's a chilly but quiet morning. We are tracking a cold front that's going to push in across northeastern Colorado, and it's going to make for a cooler, breezy afternoon. We could even see some icy roads tonight. We'll talk more about that coming up.
And the kind of food you eat could help you fight off the flu this year. More on that story in just a bit.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Denver 7 News at 6:30. I'm Molly Hendrickson.
And I'm Brian Sanders, and you did hear Lisa right. We're talking about a possible freezing drizzle, maybe icy roads tonight.
She's standing by in the Weather Center. And Lisa, walk us through the timing for all of these changes.
You know, after last week, I think we can get through anything, right? But it could be a little icy late tonight, early tomorrow. This morning, though, as you step out the door, sunshine's going to be really the biggest issue. It's beautiful, but it's really bright for that drive. Mid to upper 30s here early on. We'll be at about 48 to near 50 degrees by 11, hitting highs right around 50 and then dropping back down into the 40s as we get closer to sunset. It's going to get breezy, too, as that front backs in along the front range. So yesterday we were closer to 60. Today we're going to be about 7 to 10 degrees cooler, near 50 in Lakewood, Thornton. You're at about 50, and Centennial today, same thing, upper 40s to low 50s. Coming up in a few minutes, we've got a beautiful shot of the mountains. Again, you can see overnight tonight that chance for a little drizzle. Where we'd like to see some snow would be up and through the mountains, but right now it's just sunshine. I'll show you what to expect for the weekend if you're heading up there coming up.
And that sunshine is going to be a major factor for us here this morning. Any of the eastbound routes, been looking down to the south side of town. So far, so good. But take a look at Arapahoe Road. It's already busy for us coming on that westbound side from Parker Road over there, heading past Jordan here on that westbound side. Really crowded already trying to get over to the Denver Tech Center. You can see 225 is already pretty busy for us south of Parker Road down to the Denver Tech Center. About 15 to 17 minutes on that drive in and out of the DTC. But that sunshine is going to change those numbers really dramatically, and they're going to jump up very quickly. The rest of the drive looks pretty standard for us on I-76, 270, the north side, already a half an hour into downtown Denver, and fairly quiet there on Highway 36 all the way to and from Boulder. I'm not seeing any problems up that way either.
All right, thank you, Jason. Most Americans don't like the idea of government or big tech like Google and Facebook tracking your every move. But when it comes to our kids, the tables suddenly turn.
Yeah, parental monitoring has changed a great deal. So how far is too far?
Denver 7's Russell Haythorne goes 360 this morning on the idea of spying on your kids while still giving them the freedom to make their own choices.
They're teenagers, okay? They use drugs and they watch people playing video games on YouTube.
No one ever said parenting was easy.
2 kids, 2 boys, very different boys.
Wildly different.
Made even harder for moms like Blythe Cook and Bijal Choksi by technology.
It can't be so much of the phone.
Social media is horrifying. The vaping, the sexualizing everything.
A parent trap of sorts as moms and dads try to strike a balance between giving kids freedom and hovering too much, which gave rise to the term helicopter parents.
The idea of us hovering over our kids and getting ready to swoop in anytime something bad happens and just rescue them from everything.
There are now dozens of apps for tracking and keeping tabs on your kids like Bark, Life 360, NetNanny, Spizy, and Custodio. But is that always the right move? We're taking spying on your kids 360 by asking how far is too far with a pediatrician, a school resource officer, and parents, starting with Bijal,
And his phone.
who recently began locking up her 11-year-old's phone at night.
I know that probably sounds extreme.
But it is what works for them.
This is the safe.
Bijal says she and her husband would catch their 11-year-old on the phone late at night, so they took action.
For his safety and health, making sure he gets enough sleep.
They also track their older son and monitor his activities on the phone. They use the iPhone tracking system. Other apps like Bark show your child's location, all the calls they make, their text messages, and even the photos and videos they capture.
My approach has been to lay out some structure, almost like scaffolding.
And she even occasionally looks through their bedrooms.
I do go through their rooms, and this was advice given to me by my mom.
Law enforcement officers say it's a no-brainer.
I say be nosy.
School resource officer Kelly Lechuga says searching your child's bedroom is not an invasion of privacy.
In all reality, it's still their house, and they still have access to that, and they still can go search, and they should be searching. They should be aware.
The Arvada PD recently rolled out its mobile bedroom, a replica of a teen's room, to teach parents about the hiding places for things like vape pens, drugs, and alcohol.
You have every right to access any piece of their bedroom.
Both the typical hiding spots like drawers.
We also have a lighter here.
And the not so typical.
Maybe your kid does play tennis, but if you actually start to search a little bit more, they get pretty creative and can hide things. You just got a marijuana pipe, things as simple as a frame, right? We don't think to look behind these.
Lechuga says if you trust your child, you may not need to search, but keep an eye out for signs. Tired all the time, grades slipping, pushing away good friends for new ones.
Asking questions is going to be the best way that you're going to get those answers.
And that brings us to the clinical side.
There are studies that suggest that kids with helicopter parents do have more social anxiety and more anxiety and depression in general.
Dr. Deborah Berry at Lone Tree Pediatrics says it all goes back to the early years. She says parents can be too involved.
When my kid was in kindergarten and they were all talking about how, they all got this teacher and that they'd all gotten together and made sure their kid got this teacher. And I felt, oh, was I supposed to do that? I think you ideally want to let your kid get whatever teacher gets assigned and learn how to deal with that personality. We're not letting them fail in second grade when their friend is mad at them and they have to work that out. They're supposed to learn from that and realize that it's okay.
Barry says letting kids fail teaches them how to cope, make better decisions, and ultimately helps them grow into sensible teens and adults.
It's having them be happy kids, but also learn to be productive adults.
Coming full circle, that brings us back to parents like mother of three, Blythe Cook.
I have a freshman in high school, a 6th grader, and a 3rd grader. I just go into our messages.
Blythe tracks her oldest son.
There he is.
Something that started when his behavior changed.
He started hanging out with a crew of kids that were dabbling in vaping and smoking cannabis. I gave him warnings, and it got to a point where we said, this is for your safety and our sanity.
They monitor which apps and programs he's using and for how long.
This is our charging station.
And everyone in the house must dock their devices by 8 o'clock at night. No exceptions.
You don't get to talk on it after that. There's no reason. And that's Roman.
A delicate balancing act for parents trying to navigate our changing world.
We tend to parent pretty middle of the road, but it's very important for us to know what's going on.
I don't want to be suspicious, and so don't give me a reason.
For Denver 7, I'm Russell Haythorne.
It is so hard for parents in this day and age because everybody wants to do what's best for their kids.
I think it's safe to say parenting is wonderful and terrifying
at the same time.
And we know there are all kinds of opinions on this one. We would love to hear yours. In today's world, is there such a thing as too much parenting?
So you can share your comments on this post on the Denver 7 Facebook page, or you can send them in an email to 360@thedenverchannel.com.
6:38 is your time now, and today is the 4th day of testimony in the murder trial against Patrick Frazee in Teller County. He's accused of killing Kelsey Barrett, the mother of his child, and getting rid of her body. Yesterday, the suspect's brother took the stand. He testified about Frazee's money issues, including coming up short on child support payments. The jury also heard from a forensic expert, an investigator, and a police officer. Barrett vanished on Thanksgiving Day last year, and her body has never been found. The rabbi of a southern Colorado synagogue says his community won't be threatened despite revelations of a foiled bomb plot on their synagogue. Temple Emmanuel in Pueblo says it's adding more surveillance cameras now after the FBI arrested a 27-year-old man in an undercover domestic terror investigation. That suspect is expected in court on Friday, the same day Temple Emmanuel will open its doors to the public for weekly service.
Denver police say a dangerous drug 50 times more potent than heroin has been found on the streets for the first time ever. Police first thought it was black tar heroin. Denver 7's Micah Smith is live this morning
morning, and Micah, turns out it was fentanyl, and an extremely dangerous type at that.
That's exactly right, Molly. In 2018 in Colorado, fentanyl contributed to 102 overdose deaths. That's up from 81 in 2017. The black tar form of this drug poses an especially high risk because it looks like heroin, except it's 50 times more potent. Fentanyl can come in many different forms, such as pills, capsules, powder, and rocks. It cannot be seen, tasted, or smelled when mixed with other drugs. Fentanyl overdoses can happen really fast, and medical professionals say they're harder to stop because just touching or breathing in fentanyl can be very harmful. The Department of Health is telling everyone who misuses substances or knows someone who does to share this warning about the extremely potent drug and to make sure that they have naloxone, a medication that blocks the effects of opioids. The Denver Police Department and Health Department have been monitoring the city for fentanyl in hopes of reducing the risk of overdose on this drug. Police found the most recent supply during a recent undercover investigation. They say right now it's too early to determine if DPD will be handling this case or if it will be the Drug Enforcement Administration. Live in Denver, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Thank you, Micah. Cases of the flu are up again in Colorado. In the latest numbers released yesterday, 41 people have been hospitalized for the flu in our state.
It's safe to say we all want to avoid the flu, and doing so could come down to the foods you eat.
Yeah, here's a look at some of the best immunity-boosting foods. I was sad to see pizza was not on this list, but some toppings are. Studies show mushrooms have antiviral properties, and you can saute those with onions and garlic, both of which have high levels of antioxidants.
Oranges, also a well-known source of vitamin C, but kiwis actually have even higher levels of it.
And zinc is an important mineral in regulating your immune system. Pumpkin and sunflower seeds are great sources of zinc.
It is now 6:41. Good Wednesday morning. At the bus stop this morning, your kids are going to want to wear a jacket. It's chilly out there. We're in the low to upper 30s here between now and about 8 o'clock under a really sunny sky. It's a very bright start to the day. Breezy and cooler today. Temperatures are going to top out near 50, so it's cooler than yesterday, and the winds will kick up with this cold front. We'll take a look at the timing of the front coming up in just a few minutes.
We have a bit of a mess up by the Flatiron Mall. This is the westbound side of Highway 36, passing Flatirons or Foothills and where Highway Northwest Parkway comes together, and you can see the activity up there. There's actually a car down the hill. We'll get a look at all of this and sort it out and look at those travel time delays. It's a big mess for us right past the mall. That's coming up.
Progress at a price for the ongoing Great Hall construction project at DIA.
We are live inside the airport with details on efforts to get a new contractor in place and renovations moving again.
Plus, we have a look at the new regulations proposed to put an end to the vaping epidemic in our state.